Hey everyone. So, have you ever really thought about that path we're all sort of told to follow? You know the one. Work hard in school,
Yeah.
get the good grades, grab that degree, and then supposedly a stable, fulfilling life just clicks into place. It's a big promise. But maybe you're out the other side, graduated, and you're deep in it right now, and you're wondering, does that promise actually, hold up in real life? The messy part.
Yeah, that gap, that potential disconnect is exactly what we're getting into today. We're doing a deep dive based on this really insightful piece from YouTube called Why School Feels Pointless.
Mhm.
And it's not just a complaint, not at all. It's more of a provocative look at our education system today and how it sometimes feels surprisingly out of sync with, actual human experience.
Right. So, our mission here is pretty clear. Let's unpack the main arguments from this piece. Let's look at the realities it points to, and importantly, figure out what it means for you listening right now. As you're navigating your own learning, your own definition of what success even looks like, think of this as your shortcut to understanding a really complex but super relevant topic, the true purpose, and maybe the impact of school on life. Okay, so the piece really kicks off with a bang, doesn't it? The central idea. That school, the way we generally experience it, is fundamentally misaligned with what life actually asks of us. That's a pretty bold statement right out of the gate.
It really is. And the author argues that the system, maybe instead of nurturing that natural curiosity or creativity we all start with, it kind of subtly trains students for compliance, for hitting certain markers, achieving things on the surface, but maybe becoming a bit intellectually passive in the process. It's almost like it's prepping us not for the full spectrum of life, but for a specific, maybe more rigid societal structure.
Yeah, and if it's conditioning us for compliance, not real growth, well, then it makes total sense why that success through school promise can feel a bit hollow sometimes.
Mm.
We all bought into it, right? Good grades, degree equals amazing career, personal clarity. Boom.
Huh.
But the reality check the author gives is, well, it's pretty stark. Many students finish up not with all that, but with, debt, anxiety,
Mm.
and this really deep sense of what now? Existential confusion, basically.
And that hits even harder when you hear the author's own story. I mean, despite crushing it academically, we're talking a 1590 SAT, top high school physics degree from Michigan. Despite all that, they describe feeling totally empty after graduating.
Wow.
And that's not just one person's feeling, right? It suggests a bigger issue.
Yeah.
The system rewards playing the game, following the rules, but genuine self-discovery, finding out who you are, that often gets overlooked.
Okay, this next point really got me thinking. The author floats the idea that maybe the real purpose of school isn't actually learning, but control,
Hmm.
primarily behavioral conditioning. That's
Right.
quite a claim.
It is provocative, yeah. But they back it up by looking at those everyday classroom things. Sitting in rows, raising your hand, asking permission to, use the restroom. The argument is that these aren't just random rules. They actually prepare us for a specific role in society. It mirrors how many workplaces function, sure, but it also fosters this deference to authority and maybe subtly chips away at our natural curiosity or willingness to take chances later in life, because actual deep learning, creative thinking, that often takes a backseat to just giving the standardized answer.
That idea of crushing curiosity,
Yeah.
that's powerful. Little kids, they ask why about everything, constantly.
Right.
But the article suggests that by the time we hit college, that instinct is, well, often stamped out. You're afraid of looking dumb if you ask a follow-up question.
Exactly.
So you don't ask. And schools, the piece argues, they reward speed, memorization, getting it right the first time,
Right.
which can come at the cost of that resilience you build from, really wrestling with something confusing.
Deep exploration. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it points towards a system that maybe values efficiency more than meaning. Education gets focused on the benchmarks, the test scores, rather than, did you actually understand this? Did it change how you think? The author even points out how technology, convenient things like AI or digital submissions, have kind of accidentally made intellectual laziness easier, turning learning into what they call a vending machine experience.
Well, vending machine experience.
Yeah, like input prompt, get output, without the messy, valuable process of thinking, reflecting, trial and error. And that's not just about being efficient, it's potentially eroding critical thinking, deep problem solving, the stuff that defines real mastery, not just repeating info.
Okay, so you get through all that, you graduate, and suddenly you're in the quote-unquote real world feeling totally lost, overwhelmed. The article paints a pretty vivid picture there of students feeling genuinely directionless.
It's a really common feeling, unfortunately. The author points out that graduates often lack really crucial life skills, things like emotional regulation, managing your health holistically, building solid relationships, even entrepreneurship or just deep self-awareness. School doesn't really teach that stuff. The takeaway seems to be school teaches you how to operate within a pre-designed life, maybe one someone else set up, but not necessarily how to build your own life.
And if that sounds suspiciously like a lot of modern jobs, you're probably right. The article makes a really strong case that a lot of modern work is just school continued. That structured environment, tasks, getting graded with your salary, it feels uncannily similar to the classroom, doesn't it?
It is striking, yeah. And this continuation of the school model into work, and it can really stifle creativity, make you afraid to take risks, undermine initiative. You can end up just repeating those patterns learned in school for decades, potentially leading to stagnation, maybe regret, unfulfilled potential.
And this conditioning, it doesn't just affect how we see work or success. It also shapes how we think, how we handle information, especially different viewpoints. The author argues the system encourages binary thinking. That black and white view, pass-fail, right-wrong, and ultimately, tribalism.
That's a critical point. The system, maybe unintentionally, fosters loyalty to a party, an ideology, a specific way of thinking, rather than encouraging nuanced, independent thought. And you see that spill over into adult life, right? Political debates, cultural arguments, disagreement becomes personal, hostile, instead of just a part of learning and growing. It reinforces that us versus them thing, making real dialogue so much harder.
Yeah. And ultimately, the article really hammers home the gap between competence and just having credentials. Real life, it argues, values things like adaptability, collaboration, emotional intelligence, actual skills.
Right.
But school, it mainly rewards the surface stuff, grades, scores, the pieces of paper. And those don't always translate to being truly competent or, fulfilled out in the world.
There's a really powerful point the author makes near the end, though. It offers a kind of liberation. It's this. If you've ever felt like you just don't quite fit that standard school mold, you're not broken. The deeper insight, perhaps, is that the system wasn't really built for the huge, messy, diverse range of human potential. And that's a really profound thought to sit with. It reframes your own experience.
Absolutely. So just to kind of pull this all together, this material isn't just complaining about school. It's really a powerful nudge to re-examine some deep beliefs we hold. Beliefs about success, about learning, about what purpose even means. And the author's own story, top student, great credentials, but feeling empty, that just powerfully illustrates the disconnect between doing well in school and feeling fulfilled in life.
Yeah, and what's really striking is that there's no easy 5-step fix offered here. It's not that kind of piece. The encouragement is much deeper. It's about looking inward. Self-direction, finding the guts to break free from needing that constant external pat on the back, that validation. Success gets redefined. It's not just about the achievements others see. It's about building a life that actually feels meaningful to you, driven by your own curiosity, and feeling like you have some autonomy.
So here's something to maybe chew on after this. If this system designed for success wasn't actually built for all the different ways humans can be brilliant, and if doing everything right inside that system can still leave you feeling dissatisfied, what does that actually mean for how you approach your own learning throughout your whole life? And maybe more fundamentally, how do you define what personal fulfillment looks like in a world that's always demanding more? Worth reflecting on, maybe, what truly sparks your own curiosity and what defines your unique path forward.